Alright, before getting back to Xerxes, let's do some cleanup. First of all, let's check the videos for the weapons that we got that you couldn't.
Weird, I thought we already saw a video for the Glove of Doom
No,
in
it
this
was
video.
no,
In this game.
it was because on Torrent 4 we couldn't access the videos.
Maybe I'm just used to us using the Glove of Doom so much that I already presumed we'd seen a video for it in this game. Buzz Blades. That said, I gotta say, it's quite interesting that we're this close to the end. Like, I don't know, I thought that there'd be more build-up
Well,
to
to
it,
be
but
fair,
I guess we'll
to be
see.
fair, Joe, with the past games, into the Nexus and all for
Quest for Booty.
Quest for yeah, technically also Quest for Booty, all for one and everything. It kind of makes sense if it wouldn't be that much longer.
Lordy, lordy. I mean, I don't know which one's more finicky. Like, yeah, Quest for Booty, as we've mentioned, is kind of booty cheeks, but at least that one was like, a little quick installment in between games, whereas something like, say, All for One or Into the Nexus, people were, okay, admittedly the wait wasn't too long for those, but those were actually supposed to be, next main installments.
Anyway, in an ironic twist of fate, similar to how Clank was created technically by Nefarious via accident in 2016 reimagining, Kit was a deliberate creation of Emperor Nefarious in this universe, in this dimension, sorry.
It seems the main difference is, like, she actually turned out as planned for the most part,
Also,
whereas Clank...
I'm technically kind of sequence breaking because I'm supposed to get from the other side through those hook shots. Oops.
Oh, goody. Now here's our counterpart to Quest for Booty, a wreckage of a pirate ship and everything.
This, if you actually bothered to explore, Savali before, it would be the first occasions, well, not the first occasion, but your next main scuffle with pirate stuff before Storing 4.
Pirates. They frequent this sector.
Thanks for the warning.
You are welcome.
Yar.
Don't worry, Dweebs. We'll get an entire pirate course in a few parts. Alright, let's check the info about.
Monks that reside in the ruins of an ancient Lombax outpost. It is rumored they are the descendants of Bogon Galaxy pilgrims who chose to devote themselves to dimensional knowledge and revitalizing yoga.
I don't know if I've said this before, but could you imagine if we finally reunite with the Lombaxes, but it turns out that they were all big frauds. They never invented anything. They just took credit for other people's inventions.
Oh god.
So, you mean they're Space Milli Vanilli?
Yeah.
Whatever that means, yes.
Milli Vanilli, one of the most infamous cases of a band who, well, yeah, we're frauds, basically. They got caught lip-syncing, basically, to all their audios.
Okay.
Which wasn't even their audios.
Kind of beautiful in its own way.
I mean, to be fair, well, I don't necessarily too much blame the actual band members, more so the
music industry for allowing
the music execs that had
well, was it one of those cases where basically they hired these guys to basically look the parts and whatnot, but never do any of the actual singing?
Oh,
yeah,
so that was basically the plot of almost every single boy band centric episode in a Western cartoon from the mid 2000 to late 2010s.
Yeah.
That was basically the exact same plot because I remember Fairly Odd Parents did it, Gravity Falls did it, and I'm sure at least 3 of other, cartoons did it. It felt like the equivalent of a Beach episode.
So yeah, the Lombaxes, they never invented anything, and in fact they killed those who actually did the inventing so that no one would suspect.
No. You're thinking too small, Dweebs. You see, it turns out it was actually Dr. Embryo who created it all. And he's taking credit for it eventually to let you know that he invented it. Stop playing with it. It's his!
He invented an entire species' achievements just to fuck with Ratchet.
I will give credit to Crash Mind Over Mutant. The way they handled Embryo was a stroke of genius with that stuff.
Well, if I contract do you even get to fight him?
No, not directly. In fact, that's
Also,
kind of one of the main problems.
If you hit an enemy, it basically, throws them into the stratosphere.
It flings them into the air.
Oops. But yeah, no, that's one of the main problems with the Titans duology too, is that a lot of the bosses, the iconic bosses from Crash history, you don't really directly fight them. Like, at most, you maybe get, getting to fight them while they're piloting a mech or whatnot. I guess you technically fight Uka Uka directly and whatnot, but whatever, his body falls apart. But no, Engine, Tiny, Dr. Cortex, at least in the original Crash of Titans, no.
Yeah,
you
Mind
don't find
Over
them
Mutant, I
directly.
remember the last boss when you face in Mind Over Mutant, you jacked up Cortex, which somehow feels like a letdown, despite the other fact that it should be the equivalent of Metal Gear Rising.
And the weird thing is, even though you technically fight him, you more so end the fight while controlling him, which I guess you technically do at Crash of the Titans if you count the DS version.
How
that's kind of the thing. It's the DS and Game Boy versions of Crash of the Titans where you actually get to fight the bosses more directly and whatnot.
No wondering, it's about time basically put an hatchet to most of the sequels, because the continuity was kind of becoming a mess.
It's like, I love Crash to Insanity, and I've mellowed out somewhat on Wrath of Cortex. Mind you, it still is, it has its issues, but yeah, no, the Titans duology is something I do not miss whatsoever. Now, you want to do some references to it, that's fine, but Jesus Christ, they messed up the fact that Tiny's supposed to be a Tasmanian tiger, not a Siberian one. Like, I don't know how they messed up something as easy as that, but they did.
For comparison, Spyro did have the duds, among the games, but plot-wise he has been doing fine for the most part, because, Enter the Dragonfly was weak, but at least consistent, Rift Returns stop him at the end. Hero's Tale, like I said a couple of times, doesn't take itself even seriously, even though it technically has a strong plot in the form of Red wanting to, take over and using a robotization machine. But it's
I wonder why he's called that.
Maybe he stepped his toe in the shower or something. But it's all drowned out in all the not self-absorbing, but self-referential kind of humor, and everyone not giving a shit. It's kind of like Sonic Boom when you get down to it. Yeah, it's kind of like Rise of Lyric when you get down to it.
And Sonny, wasn't Hero's Tale the one that got weirdly dark with that intro scene as well?
Not really, as far as I know. The closest you get to darkness is that, Nasty North returns, and now he's serving the bad guy, so, the shit got serious, yo. But that's kind of it.
Yeah. Okay, if I recall correctly, Hero's Tale was like the last game in that continuity before they rebooted stuff with the Legend series.
That would be the Nintendo DS game. I forgot what it's called.
Harvest or something.
No, something about a nightmare, I think, because a gimmick is that you're having event fight there to fight nightmare creatures. And speaking of that, the plot with that also was fine for the most part. Not maybe the most epic conclusion, but still something. Like I said, specifically plot-wise, the Spyro games had a better run-in compared to Crash, which instead flip-flopped between just a retread of previous adventures, or the best you can argue that the best it came up with it was to Insanity, which almost felt also in a parody of the typical Crash tropes more than anything. So
see, Twinsanity I feel worked because first off, its humor was actually good. And Twinsanity felt like something that was like a natural progression from the game's plot-wise, at least. Heck, we even had classic enemies lampshading their roles and whatnot. The problem was, when the Radical Entertainment era came, they flanderized the hell out of things.
let's get back to Zurkis now.
Yeah, get it? The Scarstu, because it sounds like scattered.
What are you doing?
I guess. I honestly being reminded of the weird old English usage, language usage in Elden Ring, particularly in the DLC, where they had a thing called the Shadow Tree, but it's actually written like an old English language would actually wrote, which is instead wrote as SCADU. And that's supposed to be read as shadow, but a lot of people instead read it as the Skadu tree, which leads to comparing to, the Skibidi tree or Skadoosh tree instead.
Yeah.
So there's something similar like this going on.
Skibidi, skadoosh. What is it about those words?
Again, if anything, Job, I will say this to Deji the other day, it's a testament of the fact that Clockwork Orange was pretty spot on about, predicting that in the future language would evolve in strange ways.
Tell me about it. But no one would have figured charisma would be shortened to Riz, and oh lord, the way that would be used.
Oh well. Alright, let's see if we have something else. Yes, actually. Oh, the Warmonger returns. I guess, some classic never die for the rocket launcher.
Speaking of classics, can't wait to see what this game's Rhino looks like.
You'll see. Excuse me. Fucking blards.
Oh goody, the return of the rude NPCs.
Again, it feels like we're in Lightning Returns. It's powerful,
okay,
but the rate of fire is fairly slow and you don't have a lot of ammo, so use it specifically for boss fights. It's better recommended for those.
Also, Zircon Jr. sounds like he's going to blow a gasket.
I was gonna potentially say that I was hoping that Richard Stephen Horwitz was paid enough for having to, throw his throat into the trash for this. But thanks to the voice actor strike thing, we kind of know that probably that's not what happened. Oh well. Anyway, more pleasant things at that end. Let's finally have the two Lombaxes meet, and consequentially Clank and Kit.
What's... hey.
Okay, I understand why Rivet will do this, but Ratchet, this is not the first Lombax you met. Even without the whole debacle with Angela, you met Azimuth.
That reminds me, have you heard the theory some people have put around that Angela might have been more of a hybrid Lomax than a full-on Lomax, since her different body proportions?
I'm gonna cut the shit out of the root, Jova. It doesn't fucking matter. Ow.
Hey, look, Kit's technically bigger than Clank.
Hilarious.
This is...
Kit, I have been looking forward to meeting you.
If you pay attention to the dialogue, there has been the obvious question being thrown around. If Ratchet and Clank are so buddy, will that mean that Kit and Rivet will form a similar bond? But we also know from somebody something that is happening, is about to happen, so you're just telegraphing super hard instead.
Well, it's okay, we got the Dimensionator, now we can put an end to this madness. Aww.
Sweet. Well, not so much.
No!
Well, we should have seen this coming because, yeah, the Emperor's assistants niched them.
Though, given all we've done, surely we could have just fought our way out of that one.
Messing around numbers.
It's cutscenes contrivance, you know, it's kind of like the beginning of Uncharted 3 where Nate and Sully just waited before starting throwing punches.
How many times you beat this guy?
Clearly not enough.
Can I try?
Be my guest.
Okay.
Fair enough.
We could hear what you're saying. Oh,
Why didn't we just do that instead of surrendering the Dimensionator to him?
Because the plot demands it. So anyway, boss fight against Nefarious, and I'm happy to report they actually made his moveset more similar to the one of Ampere Arsenal than the one from A Crack in Time, believe it or not.
I guess he figured it was time to return to the classics.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's got the finger lasers, I see.
Well, and the missile attack. The blade, the energy blade is a kind of a new thing as far as I know. I don't remember if he had that in A Crack in Time. I don't think so. I kind of wish we did include a thing or two, like the invisibility thing from All for One, just as a neat callback, but alas, what can you do about it?
I don't want to remember those days! I may have looked at that picture in sorrow, but I have stowed it away, for I am forever a coldless, heartless bastard!
Sure.
wouldn't it have been more convenient to burn the picture?
Not that heartless.
Alright, so Interstruce, Jesus. In between the fight, Nefarious wants to use the newly created Dimensionator to throw into different parts of the galaxy just for funsies.
Also, cute, in Sonic Rush fashion, it's Rivet who fights Nefarious, which leads me to believe that it'll be Ratchet who faces against the Emperor.
We'll see. It's more of a case where, to be fair, Ratchet had enough of a go both in previous games and as the first boss of the game, so, you know, kinda get it. Sure, the ideal compromise would have been having a two-phase where one Lombax fights, you know, the character in one phase and the other in, you know, the other, but, you know, I'm fine with this too.
Also, yeah, like you said, now we get the combination of Rivet and Kit.
It doesn't really matter much because, like I said, Kit does not really have anything going on for her. She doesn't have the Alipack mode, so Rivet just uses the... Oh, fuck me, I need to count the ground tour now? But Rivet has to use the jet boots for gliding anyway, so...
Oh no, a Gruntor! It's not like we faced those before!
Well, it is clearly an annoyance, considering we need to focus on Nefarious instead.
Yes, Nefarious, we are just chatting. Okay, so that's interesting. So the text can apparently proceed even while you have the pause menu up.
I don't know about the intricacies of that.
I'm guessing maybe the thing is they figure that because some of the vocals are triggered, they might as well keep it going?
Possible, yeah. If a character maybe is finishing their phrase vocally, but the text is segmented into two parts, I guess, you know, they do exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they shout
At least everyone
pew,
is having
just
fun.
like they shout pew pew pew, just like Cryo from Mighty Number 9.
No.
Right, your favorite Mighty Number.
No.
It's funny since we do have some voice actors from that game in here. In fact, shoot, let me check and see if Cryo's one came back.
Well, okay, the only other Mighties that I remember were the Sniper voiced by Steve Blum, and Aviarad, as you called him, the cameraman guy.
Oh wait, no, yeah, the Mighty Number's name was Avi, but, the one who definitely is back here also is J.P. Karliak, who played Brandish. Anyway, Cryospear's actor was Paige King. Shoot! No, apparently she has not had any credited roles since Mighty Number 9. Damn.
But how much she did in the past before that?
She was in the CSI New York video game in 2008. She was additional voices in Mass Effect 3, Fallout New Vegas, Infamous.
So she was trying...
She was apparently an additional voice in Mass Effect Andromeda, which came out a year after Mighty Number 9, but
So
as far as behind the voice actors is concerned, nothing else of note.
She was trying to, create a career by starting, with simple stuff like additional voices, but I guess it never took off, or she decided to retire or something. I don't know.
That is kind of a shame if Mighty Number 9 ended her career.
Well, to be fair, Jova, if there's something that, has been very clear in recent times is that the voice acting industry for the United States kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Alright, almost there. I guess one thing that they did was recoloring some of the laser attacks, because in Upper Arsenal they were mostly, dark colored, like gray or black. But anyway.
I like how we had these graphics just in time for her.
Business, profit, and everything.
Okay.
Yay!
Ow. Unfortunately, it's that. Will the real Emperor Nefarious please stand up?
Complete with villainous fanfare and everything.
So here's the thing. For some reason, they called back once again Robin Atkin Dawes, because apparently Insomnia cannot, use anyone else from this guy, and told him to do a posh kind of impression. It's technically fine, but every time he opens his mouth, I'm picturing someone that is trying to make instead an impression of John Oliver.
I finished neutralizing my enemies. With the exception of Captain...
Again,
John Oliver as an evil emperor.
I mentioned Cory Burtle in the previous part. Was he busy, or dare I say unionized or something, and he couldn't get him?
Come here, the
I didn't even say he was busy with Crash 4 or whatnot.
Well, that's the thing, this game was union.
Weird. Also, yeah, to show that the Emperor means business, he's not as much as jokey as Doctor Nefarious.
I've been fighting rebels for years. Let me help you wipe them out.
Ah, my, strange fan wants to assist. Tantalizing. Why don't we make this interesting? A home game, perhaps?
Although I do find it weird that with his moves and everything, it acts almost as if he knows already how to use the Dimensionator, where by all accounts, this should be the first time that he even knows about the thing.
So, is this like one of those cases where, oh, he's so much more competent than our Nefarious, he's the real deal?
Basically, yes. Again, I can explain more in a second, because we're taking also this occasion to do the Silver Cup at, the arena. Why not?
Oh, the bad guy
the
got away
galaxy
with
could
the
be in danger,
Dimension.
we gotta get fighting.
The bad guys got away with the Dimensionator, but screw that. I need to win a few more cups in battle.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll wait until we're ready for him.
Gonna need to get more bolts and other words, why not?
I love how most people here are nonchalant, like, oh yeah, our universe
I
might
still
be
wonder
at
who
risk,
that
but we
sheep
can still
is.
enjoy ourselves. Oh god, I won. Well, no.
Anyway, you can also
it
do
can't be
this
him.
with the Rivet at the jukebox. Honey, does
Charlie Brown.
Does anyone even remember that dance meme from A Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown? I also love that she concludes the taunt by doing, the pose, the Agent Cody Banks, crossed arms pose.
Given how heavily circulated the Charlie Brown Christmas special is, I would not be surprised if people still remember those dances.
It was a meme that was more in vogue in the 2010s, but I think by this point it kind of lost itself. It wasn't really, unless it was introduced as some taunts in most of multiplayer games that I do not know about, but I don't think so, otherwise more people would talk about it.
Honestly, when it comes to the Charlie Brown dances from the Christmas special, that's a thing that seems to endure eternally with people doing the memeing. Like, even right down to, of course, Snoopy's dance on the piano, which a lot of modern shows sometimes like to replicate. So,
It's
no,
kinda
that
like,
one doesn't surprise me.
It's kind of like how Doom 2016 had the Colton as a taunt, even though nobody remembered that by that point. Anyway, for some reason, they brought back this fucking monstrosity from Into the Nexus. Why? The mangler fucking sucked.
Okay.
I get the idea. I introduce an extra obstacle for the arena, so that it gives a more sense of urgency. Kind of similar to also, if you ever seen a show like Robot Wars, you get exactly this kind of extra obstacle thing that the contenders have to deal with at the same time. But I hate to say, but the Mangler Into the Nexus was more of a pain in the ass than anything. It is more manageable here, but only because you have more space technically and a dodge maneuver if you want.
It's nice that they remember that stuff, but it's so random that it's brought here out of nowhere.
But anyway, again, let me talk about a bit more about the cutscene that we just had. It is clearly to me a symptom of the different rewrites that the game had, because again, the idea of Emperor Nefarious just showing up at the midpoint, and taking over properly as a main villain, showcasing that he's more competent, that's fine, that's a bit of a structural kind of thing, a bit similar to how some potential Castlevania games tend to do, their plot structure. The problem is that unfortunately, I can already say in advance, we don't really know much in terms about a backstory of the Emperor. We only know that he's a dictator that managed to get this galaxy under his foot, under his iron boots, and put up an authoritarian regime with it on top. Again, similar to an extent to what Doctor Nefarious wanted to do, just without the whole forced robotization. Although it's still implied because Squishy is still, considered in universe a racial slur towards organic life, so there is that. But we don't know why he has the robotic appearance. Remember, it was kind of important, even as a joke, on why Doctor Nefarious was a robot in Ratchet's universe, We don't know how he rose to power, and we don't know how only now the rebellion seems to be starting to take an advantage over him. It's only implied that the only reason why things are taking a turn now is because of the Crisis crossover happening right now, because otherwise the Emperor has everything under control by quelling rebellions all over the place, as he himself also put. But I don't know, it feels to me that people like Rivet would have been able to overthrow me in the past already due to the, type of arsenal they collect and everything. And maybe it's just maybe it was a case where Rivet was not yet ready and coincidentally she became ready, as the crisis did started happening. I guess maybe that's what the game is telling. But otherwise, there's not much what we can go with. What the game tells us is that, again, Emperor Nefarious is super competent, he's the bad guy to throw, and it would be satisfying to see his mug, Green having to cease once he eventually took over him. Which, it's fine. It's just that I think we could have used a couple more information. Maybe said in some of the infobots, but it's clearly something that, got lost in between the rewrites, if you ask me.
For now, I'm fine with him, so long as we don't fall into that hit trap of basically saying that, oh, our Nefarious is a weakling compared to him, and look how much better he is than this classic character.
Oh, you'll be able to see about that.
What I'm getting at, though, is, I do kind of agree with you that I feel like one issue I do have is, the game definitely wants to talk him up without really doing much of the legwork to get why he's a threat. To give Nefarious credit, from his debut, we knew that despite him being silly, he was a threat worth taking seriously given how effective his plans were, and how close he did get to winning, and how legit, if it weren't for Ratchet and Clank, he'd have won essentially. Also, like you mentioned, we did have that full-fledged backstory between Quark and Nefarious as well, which I know that you mentioned that this dimension has its own take on Quark, but I'm guessing that version doesn't, at least isn't mentioned to have anything to do with how this universe's Nefarious turned out.
It was mentioned a couple of times, including in the cutscene where Emperor Nefarious shows up, supposedly Captain Quantum, although the game would still try to have it as a kind of a surprise, even though really not, guys. Come on. But no, technically the only connection that the two have is that Quantum has been, you know, a rebel fighting against, you know, Nefarious, Emperor Nefarious for a while, and supposedly this off-screen rebellion that the Emperor quelched, Quantum manages to survive that and still be, you know, a thorn in the side.
And look, I'm not saying that we needed, like, you know, this super big Bible of lore talking about every single detail of this new universe, since a lot of it we can maybe just infer, okay, this is that because it's an inverse or reflection of our universe, but again,
we could have used the two previous worlds we were in, you know, with Ratchet and Regiment to instead of having the original subplot, instead, you know, do the extra legwork for that. Again, the subplot that we got are technically fine on their own, but they're, you know, I don't know if that was sacrificed, but, you know, I could have sacrificed those in favor of learning more about the characters from this dimension.
I think, like you said, it's just a bit iffy knowing that there was, of course, some developmental issues in behind the scenes to the point where it seems like some writers or people participating were kind of booted off the project due to power struggles and whatnot. Like, yes, this game turned out good, but it's kind of like Crash to Insanity, where you know it could have been better if it weren't for this or that and whatnot.
I don't think the same writers eventually handled, you know, Insomniac Spider-Man 2, but if so, that is, you know, potential bad foreshadowing, because, again, I mentioned this a couple of times, but the plot of Spider-Man 2 is technically fine, but also falls into the same contrivances plot, just amplified much more.
I've definitely heard a lot of discourse.
How do we get... we need to have a scene in which, you know, Venom kidnaps Mary Jane from Peter, and unfortunately Peter is not able to stop him. Supposedly he's a bit more wounded. How do we convey that? Venom drops a fridge on him, and he cannot get up immediately.
You know, Spider-Man, the guy famous for literally lifting a whole building's collapsed roof off of him because he's that determined to help people.
Like,
really?
It almost felt like the writers from Borderlands took over. But again, I don't really think that's the case. If we ever get to that game, I will bother to look up more into it, but needless to say, I'm not particularly impressed, and there's probably a reason why we never, one of the reasons why we never got to the DLCs involving Carnage.
Again, that's just the sad thing about Spider-Man 2. There's a lot of discourse because it was coming off of the beloved first Spider-Man game and the Miles Morales game, which, you know, again, got positive reception. So Spider-Man 2 should have been a slam dunk, and yet they repeated issues from stuff like Amazing Spider-Man 2 of all things, where they do a terrible job establishing what good friends Peter and Harry are. You know, Harry who didn't even show up in the first Spider-Man game.
It's not even that. Like Daddy said in the past, we also do the fucking Sony thing of slowing the game's pace down to a snail, you know, stuff in order to convey in an immersive, quote-unquote, way the friendship that the two have. And all the time I'm like, can we just move on, please?
And that's not even getting into the godforsaken Adidas suit.
Yeah.
Which look,
it's even better. It's pretty much clear that for that case, in general, for Miles Morales, Insomniac had almost no idea what they were doing and needed some level of consultants, because infamously someone in the development team fucked up big time, and for Miles's you know, personal room, instead of having the flag of Puerto Rico, you know, the one ethnicity of Miles Morales that normally media try to not prop up as much, instead was swapped with the one of Cuba because it's quote-unquote similar but had some of its colors swapped.
Oops! Jesus Christ.
To Zircon Jr., I don't think the language of the Daleks is something you want to be using.
As long as he
Dweeb,
screams
Dweeb.
good enough, Dweebs, yes.
Also, Dweebs, you're surprised that a Zircon is quoting the Daleks, given how bloodthirsty they are?
Yeah, well, the Dalek, this guy does it at least for sport. The Daleks do it because they hate everybody that isn't them.
Except for that one time where I think one of the assistants got turned into a Dalek.
Well, even then, it's more of a case that, remember, the Daleks were technically the species, but their teen can cover was just considered a bizarre exoskeleton exosuit, you know.
I forget, was Doctor Who the one that started the idea of basically serpents or lizard people hiding inside robotic shells?
Not really. That has been a sci-fi concept since, you know, sci-fi book existing. I'm pretty sure there was an episode of Flash Gordon that had something like that going on.
So we wanted to bet Dark Void was definitely cribbing from Doctor Who with the serpents inside the mechs.
Oh, you mean... No, I think it was more, again, traditional 50s, 60s sci-fi.
Fair enough. Anyway, I bring up the Adidas suit from Spider-Man because, of all things, it actually has stupid plot relevance where you're forced to wear it for the final bit to show how important it is to the narrative.
And again, they clearly had focus groups, you know, about what the design looked like, and pretty much the people involved, or at least the vast majority, told, yes, this is good, keep it.
Yes. You know, I just love how conveniently they can get focus groups that pretty much comply to terrible decisions, because everyone and their mother hated the Adidas suit with the actual release. The common joke that it cost them the Game Awards still persists to this day. It's that bad.
Alright, for this challenge, as you can see,
nice.
just to showcase the icicle weapon. Like I said, it's pretty overpowered. It doesn't kill properly the Amoeboids. They still split if you actually hit them. But as you can see, the icicle lasts a decent enough amount of time. So
yeah. Also, that was cute. Kit cheering Rivet's name.
There you go.
Eee.
And we get the box breaker as a war for this.
Shoot, are we to the point where you can pretty much just complete all the arena cups at this point?
No, the gold cup gets available pretty much at the end of the game, before the final boss fight.
Fair enough.
And it's the one that gives you an infobot, so you need to wait until that point to get the rhino, basically.
Oh, hello, different arena.
But we get that's because we need to have a rematch against the Seeker feed.
But what if I don't want to cheer?
I missed the part where that's my problem. There you go, brought it back to Spider-Man.
The things I fight for people's entertainment to make a quick buck.
Clearly. Although if I recall correctly, the ultimate reward for finishing the gold cup is either a gold bolt or something else, rather than just bolts.
Uh-huh.
Again, the rematch against the Seeker feed is fine, but because it has more health, it probably might eat more of your ammo, so you need to watch out for that. And save the ones that don't really work for when the minions show up. Ow.
Right.
The only thing that's missing is the fact that the Seeker feed doesn't actually taunt you like it did for the story mode, story boss fight that you did, even though it's still, you know, one of the Nefarious troops controlling it, so kind of would make sense to have some of that going on, but alas, instead you tend to have, you know, Zircon Jr. instead telling something. Sorry, Mr. Fun Guy. I forgot, Gleaves, did you actually manage to beat the game on your own, or did you stop at one point?
Nah, I haven't beaten it yet.
Okay, so at what... Did you manage to get progress past this point, or did you stop beforehand?
Nah, that's not to beforehand.
Okay, it was just to know in case of comparing notes, potentially. Well, I guess you can tell us how does it run on PS5, since the marketing for it was all over the place about how seamless it was, and I mean,
it runs great on it. It runs great on PS5. Considering that it was a platform it was made for.
Yeah.
Wonder how well it'll run on PS7.
If we ever get
skipping
there.
6. Once AI stops taking up all the bloody chips.
God, what are the chances that it might just legit try and keep it at PS5? Like, yes, the PS6 is technically in development, but it seems like Sony have been moving with the narrative of trying to get people to get comfortable with the PS5.
You get a piece of the Carbonox armor, as in the too edgy for you armor for this game specifically.
Oh, does Rivet get her own edgy armor?
But it's like I said in the previous part, all armor sets are compatible with both Lombaxes, so they're unisex.
Imagine if we were still in the days when they were trying to basically follow Halo's trend. Then Rivet would have gotten her own Spartan armor.
Thank you for that.
Zerkies.
Of course, the Emperor would come back just because he was on the news. Ugh, not for the dimensions falling apart or...
The Emperor has always been a threat to our universe. We must get the Dimensionator away from him before we have no home left to save.
Yeah, that seems about right. Also, we get a new weapon completely, the Bombardier. It's a globe that tosses something, but you'll see.
All of the other names on that hit list.
Oops. Rivet, I was trying to watch... Whatever.
I'm watching a video here.
And the ironic thing, it's not the NPC being rude this time.
The Bombardier is kind of similar also to Mr. Zircon, only that it launches small explosives. So if you want to have something that has less rate of fire than Mr. Fungi, but more firepower, you go with this.
Treat yourself to an upgrade. You earned it. Nice mod, huh?
There you go.
Yeah, someone's probably modded this game, but to what extent I don't know.
I mentioned this in early parts of the Dweebs. The one particular mod is to try to restore some of the cut weapons that were discovered via data mining that technically work, but risk breaking the game. Okay, risk breaking the game if you actually unlock too many, because the total amount of weapons that you can carry on does not register the fact that it can exceed that.
Excuse me, sir, I'm trying to concentrate what's happening on the screen. Don't walk in front of it.
Hashtag not my problem.
I wonder if somebody's made a mod that replaces Ratchet with Crash Bandicoot and Rivet with Coco.
Not that I know. The only mods that I've noticed tied to Nefarious are different color palettes, just for funsies more than anything. Anyway, tune in for the next part when we have a second visit on Sargasso, as Rivet and Kit has to defend it from the attack from Emperor Nefarious. See you for that.
See you then.